5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning. Uh, I'm extremely delighted to be in the company of two very beautiful, very fun, wonderful women. Guys, we're going to be having fun for next 60 minutes. I'm going to be asking some questions. Most likely, you will be able to answer them. If you do not want to answer them, you can say pass, but I'm not scaring you. I might just put you on spot. Some questions perhaps will put you on spot, but the bigger purpose of this meeting and this interview is to serve the people out there. A lot of people who are struggling at the moment can use your knowledge, use your guidance, because the businesses are suffering, people are suffering, humanity is suffering, and we have chosen you to educate them from your experiences so that they can bring their business up back on track with the help of people like yourself. Over the last 3 months, I have interviewed 100 plus e-commerce founders in the US, and we have been distributing their knowledge across different channels on LinkedIn, YouTube, and we're going to be doing the same here as well. The session is recorded. Let me introduce Abby first. Abby is the one who is the one who spoils us with her fabulous ice creams. She has been doing the business from last 13 years, and before that, she was working in a jewelry company owned by Warren Buffett. And she has been extremely passionate about ice cream. She delivers ice creams at home of your flavor and texture. You can make several permutation combinations of ice cream and get those ice creams delivered at your home at your convenience. Abby, thank you so much for coming over, and looking forward to speaking with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Leslie is again a Wonder Woman. She's the founder and CEO of a company called Beauty for Real. She lives in perhaps the world's most beautiful place, Miami Beach, and she has a special love for horses. Back then, she used to go to her college on a horse, and she identified her passion for beauty when she was much younger. And Leslie also has featured with InStyle and Oprah, and she also has worked with Serena Williams and Shakira. So a lot to Leslie's credentials. Thank you so much, Leslie, for coming over. Looking forward to having some good conversations with you today.
Thank you, Amit. I'm super excited to be here and excited to share anything that I may have learned along the way.
Wonderful. Let me ask my first question to Abby. Abby, are people still eating ice creams during pandemic?
I think people are eating more ice cream during the pandemic. I know. Yeah. So we deliver an ice cream gift. That is what we do. So you can personalize your ice cream. You can personalize the flavors. And the most popular item is you choose some of our flavors, and then you can personalize the front of the container. So you can put pictures on them or write messages on the containers. So we really deliver a personalized gift that you can enjoy as an experience. And so during the pandemic, we have seen tremendous growth because people are not able to travel, and they aren't even, a lot of people aren't even celebrating close by milestones. So they are sending ice cream, and so we're delivering a lot of comfort during the pandemic.
Yes, ice cream do deliver is a comfort food. So how has the business shifted from pre-COVID to post-COVID? What shifts have you observed?
Well, so for us, we own the entire process. So it's, we make, sell, and ship the ice cream all in-house. So we have had to make some adjustments because of the demand. We are typically a company that grows about 20% a year, and we have been experiencing tremendous growth because we've just seen a lot of people that want to send these personalized ice cream gifts. So we have had to add on to production, and we've had to add on to fulfillment. And quite frankly, we have had to throttle marketing. So those are some of the changes that we've had to make and adjust. Not to mention just all of the PPE that we're having to do with just not being able to be close as well. So owning that process and staying 6 feet has been a challenge as well.
Wonderful. Excellent. Abby, you started the ice cream business 13 years back. What's your why? Why ice creams? Why this business?
So I think I always wanted to start a food business. That was just something that I aspired to do. And then I worked for a company called Hey Needle, where I really got a lot of e-commerce experience. Excuse me. So Hey Needle was a company where you could buy, I ran the site beanbags.com. So we had the largest selection of beanbags online. And so I was able to really see the magic of e-commerce, of being able to put a full selection and merchandising the right products that you wanted the customers to buy online. So I really caught the bug there. And then combining that with a food business, I don't think that there was any better product to sell online as far as food goes than ice cream, because it's a small luxury that people are excited to get. They're not eating it for sustaining their calories. They're not eating it for health reasons. They're eating it for an experience. And so that's what keeps us going. And we're getting a lot of very nice messages about what it's done for people's morale and how it's gone over so well as the gift. And so that explains the why. It's very fulfilling to send somebody an experience that they'll never forget in a 16-ounce cream and sugar mixture. So.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Abby, for the initial setup. Thank you very much. Coming to Leslie. Leslie, I think you focus a lot on beauty and health, and you discovered this passion at a much younger age. So how is the business for you in the last 8 months?
Well, interestingly enough, Beauty for Real has existed as a brand for about 10 years, but I had been a makeup artist, really traveling all over the world, doing lots of commercials and fashion and magazines and all types of things with, I guess you call it a celebrity makeup artist, with some people that are well known and a lot of people who are not professional beauties, just women who want to up their game and put their best face forward. And it really became apparent to me that there was a space for a brand that allows women to do that in a way that's not complicated and that's still fun, that can be done quickly and effectively, and with formulas that really last all day long so they don't have to think about it again. Abby is like probably our perfect customer. I'm looking and I see that she's got her face done, her makeup's on. She's a professional woman. She doesn't have a lot of time. She wants to put it on and have it look great all day long and not think about it again. And so in the years that I was working, I realized that there was a strong need for this, and then also just a bit of education as to how to choose the product, how to apply the product, how to put it on. So before the pandemic, we had been focusing on retail, brick and mortar. I had gone on TV, we had done some stores independently, things like that. And pre-pandemic, we really wanted to put more focus on e-commerce. So we've had for the past several years, our own .com, beautyforreal.com, and also we're selling quite steadily on Amazon and growing there as well. But we wanted to really put more of our effort into that rather than brick and mortar, seeing that was the wave of the future. Then of course, COVID hit and that became, times 10. So we right before COVID hit, we had started working on a rebrand for Beauty for Real to make it more e-commerce friendly, let's say, friendly to influencers, friendly to social media, changing the packaging a little bit. The formulas and the colors and everything are still the same, which we get great reviews and everyone loves. But we wanted to, so we're moving into creating a little bit of a change in our packaging to make it more e-commerce friendly. So that's really what we've been working on. And in cosmetics, it's kind of a big project because everything is packaged and you've got to order minimum quantities of every shade. So, you know, it's all the shades, all the components have to be done. All the outer color packaging has to be done. So that's what we've been working on. And it's been really good. I mean, our e-commerce site has definitely grown by about 60% since the pandemic started. Obviously, brick and mortar is a little bit off. So, you know, we're making up for it on the e-commerce side. And I'm so glad that we were beginning to prepare ourselves for that prior to all of this happening.
Excellent. Wonderful, Leslie. So what Leslie is saying that you got to go e-commerce and there's no better time than now. Her efforts for e-commerce has grown 10 times and business grew by 60% in the e-commerce space. And packaging is very important, especially when you're going online. You got to package it right. You got to have the right sizes and right shapes so that it's easily deliverable and people can easily order it easily. Perhaps you're also working on your average order value that people can order multiple stuff. If they are big packets, you want to make it small so that it's easily reachable and deliverable. Thank you very much, Leslie, for that. That's a great input. People who are listening, this is a great tip from Leslie. Thank you so much. Abby, you are on Shopify, am I right?
Yes.
How many SKUs do you have?
We have about 100 at a time, and then seasonally we add anywhere from 25 to 30 more. So we do not have a lot of SKUs.
Mm-hmm. So 100 plus SKUs. So are you guys funded or bootstrapped?
We were bootstrapped in the beginning, and recently we have taken on a couple partners throughout the years with some private funding.
All right. So one question to you, Abby. Somebody in this business of e-commerce, why should they not take investment from anybody? Why should somebody not take investment from anybody?
Well, I think there's a couple different paths you can go with investments. And I sure had said after our first investor that I was never going to have another investor because our partnership was so great that I thought, oh, bringing somebody else into the mix is going to be tough. But as you grow, you learn that you need strategic partnerships. And if the money is more strategic and not necessarily just funds, that's what I've learned, that if somebody can bring something to the table along with their money, then they're I would recommend that much more than maybe a bigger fund. The other thing I'll say about that is we took eCreamery on Shark Tank. So I was on Shark Tank. So we did put ourselves out there to the, the shark investors. We did not get a deal, which we're thrilled with in the end here, but it was really fascinating to learn about that world and to figure out, what it would take to make a deal with one of them, and how much it would take away from focus on the business, just trying to focus on a big shark investor like that. The couple of investors that we have taken on have come to us with an interest and a really specialized area of expertise, and then also the capital that we needed for exactly what we needed. So I'm not sure if I answered your question directly, but that's just my experience. So I can't say exactly. Yes or
Did the
no?
Shark Tank experience also help you get the investor?
Not necessarily. It helped us, well, I guess maybe, because we were able to grow our sales from just the exposure to the point where, you know, we looked a lot more interesting to that partner who was specialized in e-commerce food marketing. So we were like, well, he saw a lot in what we were doing and figured out that this would be a good place to put some money in to help grow the company. And so I would say it helped. It wasn't like we were on Shark Tank and the investor saw us and jumped on us. He's a local guy, so he just knew us from local. We also have brick and mortars here in town. Here in Omaha, Nebraska, we have 2 stores, and like Leslie said, those kind of were dropped off in sales this summer, unlike how they normally are for ice cream during the summer. So yeah, we were able to pick it up in e-commerce too.
Wonderful, wonderful. So what Abby is saying that you got to just do not take anybody's money. The money has to be strategic money. They should come with the money has to be strategic money. They should come with their contacts, their mentorship, their guidance. And if that's going to help you grow business, take the money and take the deal. Yes, Shark Tank is also a fabulous platform to go. Even if you're not able to click a deal with one of the sharks, you're going to catch a lot of attention and eyeballs, and that's perhaps going to help you in your business and in your marketing. Thank you so much. In the last 4 months, Abby, for your information, I met at least 5 founders of e-commerce companies who went to Shark Tank, and the one guy, 3 of them also had a deal with one with Barbara, one with Mark, and Mark is actually one of the very I would say strict, and he would really invest in a business that is really making a lot of sense. Otherwise, he's not that liberal like others. So one of these guys also struck a deal with Mark, and so this guy went to Shark Tank thrice, and they won they were able to do a deal the 3rd time, and he watched all the episodes of Shark Tank thrice, and they had the numbers on there. So he knew what questions can come, who can ask what question, at what time, how to negotiate. So they were watching all episodes, and then they learned it and they cracked it. So that so it was a good lesson. Thank you very much, Abby, for that information.
Sure.
Leslie, so you have been working on this business for a while, and you're moving to e-commerce more than ever before. What projects did you take up during this lockdown or after COVID, which you were procrastinating before? I think a lot of us procrastinate, and then suddenly we have a lot of time, and then we say, okay, let's do it now. We have some time. We do not have to go out and party. We do not have to go out and shop anymore. The malls are closed, restaurants are shut. We can't meet friends. We have a lot of time. So what projects did you take up which were procrastinated before?
I don't know that I would say definitely that it was procrastination. I think it was focus, because before pre-COVID, we were doing a lot of events with groups of women together. We were doing a lot of promotion on brick and mortar, really communicating with the stores that we were with, providing brochures and handouts and counter materials, things like that. Focusing our creative efforts more on stores and events and things. And when that was no longer an option, it allowed us to have the time really to shift our focus, which is what we were wanting to do anyway. So it was really a very timely thing. We made the decision just prior to, and then that happened. And it kind of was like the sign of all weird, I guess you'd call it a silver lining. Every cloud has a silver lining. For us was that it really gave us the time and the ability to focus on e-commerce and what we needed to do to up that, which, for us, it's really about, when we were talking about packaging, in beauty and makeup specifically, we're depending on a lot of input from influencers, from social media, and our own social media. And so the visual becomes very important. And right now we are in black and white packaging, which I love because I'm kind of a minimalist. I like things to be very simplistic and straightforward. And that's sort of my personal aesthetic and what I've always loved. But when you're wanting influencers to include your product in a flat lay or in an application where they talk about your product, we also do a lot of work with subscription boxes. We have an ongoing contract with Ipsy, which is the biggest subscription box in the beauty world. So we did 5 collaborations with them last year, within the last 12 months, with our black and white packaging. And what became apparent to me is that when I'm looking at the photos, I'm looking at the flat lays, and looking at all of this, while the products themselves get incredible reviews, and we've got a great, great audience and lots of fans, we would have more impact if we did something in a colored packaging. So that's what we're working on.
Wonderful.
Long story.
That's a great learning indeed. So Leslie, if you were given some reflection time, and if you have to think of 2 mistakes which you would have avoided, which you wanted to avoid, and what were the learnings from those 2 mistakes over the years?
Well, I think that if I had really put more focus on e-commerce years and, many years ago, I would have been ahead of the game now, because it's really the future for even, I guess I'm a little bit old fashioned, I'm a 61-year-old woman. So I see things maybe a little bit differently than a 21-year-old or a 31-year-old looks at buying and shopping online now, because in my mind, it was always like, well, makeup, you've got to touch it and feel it and look at the color and see how it looks on, and, all of these things, which, yeah, that's definitely beneficial, but it's not holding people back from buying. If they have great reviews and they see influencers recommending it, and then they're buying beauty online, obviously now for sure. So that would be one thing that I would have put focus there earlier. What would be a second thing? Well, interestingly enough, I think if I think about where we are now, sort of our brand story and our brand DNA, we're in the same place in my mind that we were when I started, which is really showing women how easy makeup can be. I think that the young generation of women now, like let's say 30 and under, are so more educated and more experimental with putting their makeup on, because they have been watching YouTube tutorials and, Instagram Live and all of that for growing up watching it. So they do a lot of makeup. But there's another group of women who's a little bit older who, they didn't have that, or they didn't have that education, and I was an educator for 20 years. So I definitely have the ability, sometimes when people can do something doesn't necessarily mean they can teach it, right? But I taught for many, many years. So I also have the ability to teach it. So from my perspective, I think that women, especially 30 and up, just need to have a few really easy tips. And even now, years later, I'll meet women who are really exposed, who've been all around the world, who have access to everything, who will say, could you help me pick out a foundation color? Or how do I line my eyes to really bring out the best in my eye shape? Or how do I, over and over again. So that's always been the cornerstone of what Beauty for Real is about. And from the very beginning. And I think another mistake that kind of can happen is that you lose a little bit your brand identity, because in beauty and fashion, there's so much trend and so much going, in and out seasonally, and, to be able to incorporate that and use that seasonality, but not to lose the identity of your brand. So I'm really going back strongly on the identity of the brand. And we use, real people as our models and in our imagery, not necessarily models. It's like, real women. And I think that everyone now in this time can really relate to that. I think we're looking for more authenticity, more reality, not so much, perfection. So I'm thinking now that everyone wants real, not necessarily ideal, but real. So
Fabulous. Wonderful.
Sure. Okay. So don't lose your identity and the DNA of the brand as you're going through all of this. And I wish that we had gotten on e-commerce. You know, we've been on it, but we didn't focus on it until recently.
Wonderful, excellent. That's a great tips, Leslie, and it's definitely a news for everyone that is 61 because you appear 40. Wonderful, wonderful, excellent. Abby, so you are, of course, personalizing the ice creams and making sure that people are able to enjoy this small luxury and this experience, which definitely is your niche, is your area of expertise. So apart from this, what else do you need to convert your customers into your fans? So when I say customers, customers come and go. Clients stay with you a little longer, and fans love you. So customers, clients, and fans. So how do you convert your customers into your fans?
That's a great question. And we have been working on that for a long time. And I think a lot of it speaks to what Leslie was talking about with packaging. And when you open that reusable styrofoam cooler, what is inside that box? What are you oohing and eyeing about? Because, you know, we eat with our eyes, right? So we've come along. Well, we've just always said from the beginning that the packaging has to be right and the packaging has to look good, whatever the ice cream is in. We make fabulous ice cream. We make rich, dense, extremely delicious ice cream. But if the packaging shows up and it's not that exciting, even if it says your name on it, but it's 4 pints rolling around a cooler, it might not be as delicious as if it's like in a nice box and it's inside a nice outer box. So we've always taken packaging very seriously, and I think that helps. The other thing that helps convert customers to fans are some of the major trends in the country anyway. Like we follow Starbucks and do a pumpkin latte ice cream, you know? So then it's like, oh, this is, I have to have it this year. Or we do the white chocolate peppermint ice cream, oh, you know. So we've followed those trends and made people have to have our flavors, but we just follow, you know, the big guys because we're just this little ice cream company that can. And that's one of the things too, is that we are so small and we own the process where it's easy for us to adapt. And I think that, so I'm going to try to enumerate that as well. So the third thing is, since we are so small and easy to adapt, we were able to put comfort collections, healthcare worker collections, nurse collections, teacher collections on our site when everything started. And so somebody who had bought a birthday gift last year came to our site, and all of a sudden they could send their friends that they weren't able to see a comfort collection, and they were able to send, we also did a stock market collection, like just a dip, and you know, those different things that were able to help people connect. And so our customers try us, we're able to help them connect with somebody, and then our clients were probably sent ice cream to begin with, and now they're super fans and they send it for every gift that they need to send. We definitely have those people who are like, can you just make a high school graduation pack? And we're like, we have a graduation pack, just, you know, and it's like, okay. But you can also customize your own labels. Anyway, yeah, I think that, that because of our customization, because we're able to adapt to trends in the marketplace and in the world, we get that loyalty pretty quick from our customers.
Fabulous, wonderful. One correction I would like to make, never call your business small, call it growing. We're a growing business. We're not
Oh,
a small
yeah.
business.
Sure, sure. It is
But
growing,
yes,
that's for sure.
yes. Uh, so what Abby is saying that, guys, in order to make your customers your fans, you must be obsessive about adding value. Understand your customers more and better. Segment them. A nurse collection, a comfort collection, a high school collection, a worker collection, just a dip collection for the stock market. These are some fancy things to do, but they connect you with your customer, and that's what is going to make your customer your fan. Thank you very much, Abby, for that. It's a great tip. We all can use it. Leslie, coming back to you, uh, what are your core values? For example, let's say when you hire people or when you have teams around, do you hire people based upon their values or do you hire people based upon their capabilities? When I say capability, let's say somebody has an experience of 5 years as a makeup artist and you want to hire them, but perhaps that person lacks the values which you have. So what define Leslie? What values define Leslie?
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, people, obviously it's great if you can have both, right? If you can have the values, share the same values and have the experience and the skill set, I mean, then you've got a win-win. But I would prefer to have someone with the values over the skill set. Skill set can be learned. And you've got to have the values to start with. You know, obviously a really strong work ethic is important, and a real integrity and looking out for the brand itself, I think is the most, important things. You know, things that are obvious: honesty, straightforwardness, positivity, and really the desire to learn is really, really important. To learn everything, to grow, to become, more valuable employee. How do you do that? What are the things that the company needs, and how can I learn to fulfill what that is? I think those are really important things for me in an employee. And I like to feel like, someone that I hire has got, I guess, my back, but, not just me, not personally, but the back of the company, that they're really looking out for the best interests of the company all the time. And that, that they can make their own decisions in that regard, because they're always thinking about what's the best choice for the success of the brand of the company. I think those are really important things. Something I wanted to just talk about, because when Abby was talking about how to make people become your fans, we are just starting we have had a loyalty program on our website for, a number of years. So that's really one great way, but we are just starting a digital education event, which is turning out to be really, really great and fun. So when COVID hit, like I'd said, I've been accustomed to doing a lot of events and things like that with women and photo shoots and all, and obviously all of that shut down. And I really missed the interaction with people. So I started doing online, Zoom makeup events, where I would have a friend, as it turned out, it began in the beginning with friends of mine, where they would host a group of their friends, and we'd all get on Zoom together in the evening, and maybe we'd have a glass of wine, and I would show them, a trending makeup look, how to update their makeup, things like that. And we would go through, an hour would turn into an hour and a half or 2 hours, and we would really have fun because people really wanted to connect, and it brought loyalty to the brand. Well, after, a few months, I'd done like 15, 20 of them. We started incorporating where a portion of the proceed would go to the favorite charity of the hostess. So, we did different things to make it, where people were really wanting to participate and to buy product, obviously was, part of the goal, but also just to bring women together who had been missing that interaction with other people, and also to teach them, and so that they could learn how to quickly put on makeup with, current trends and things like that. So I know that when you look good, you feel a whole lot better. And during this time, we all needed whatever we could get to feel better. So we started after a few months of doing that, we really put together a program which is called Get Real. and we put it up on our website, and we just launched it recently, and it's, you know, our first big digital event, and we do them every week, and that's been really fun. And I think that it's going to really build some brand loyalty, because the hostesses are bringing in all new people, their friends who are not familiar with the brand at all. So we've enjoyed really doing that, and hopefully I think it's going to be a really great success.
Fabulous, wonderful. So Leslie, that was very, very insightful. So what Leslie is saying in the beginning, she spoke about her values. You have to go-getter, a positive thinker, a person who wants to improve and learn, a strong desire to keep working on yourself. Those are some of the values Leslie strongly hold and strongly want in the employees and people who are around her. Then Leslie also spoke about pivoting to digital education and having Zoom lessons and Zoom shows. And so one of the things that I've learned over my entrepreneurial journey is how can we make our message, how can we make our mess a message for somebody else? So when I say our mess, we have learned through our failures, and that's our mess. How can our mess become a message for somebody else? Now, so Leslie, for example, you can definitely do some online courses and put those courses on Udemy or other Coursera, and let's say like a 2-hour crash course on makeup, and that's gonna make you a lot of money. You just shoot that video, put on Udemy, put on Coursera. People who want to do, because you are an expert in makeup. You do this 2-hour crash course in makeup, and people will pay you, and this course will keep on getting a lot of people on their own. You can sell it on YouTube, have some ads, and perhaps that's also one of the things that people are doing these days, which is pivoting. Whatever you have expertise in, you can make a small course out of it and give it away for let's say $10, $15 for 2 hours, and it will be it's basically a number game. You have thousands and hundreds of thousands of people coming and doing these courses, and you get your money without getting up from your bed. So this is what I learned over the years, and what we are also doing some courses and putting on different channels here. That was fabulous learning from you, Leslie. Thank you very much. So Leslie, are you funded or you're bootstrapped?
Well, we're kind of a combination of both. We definitely have been, in the beginning, similar to what Abby is describing, started out bootstrapping. And then as we needed to grow our inventory and get into bigger places, you know, where inventory is important, we took on some investors, private people, and that's kind of where we're at right now. I think that, you know, obviously, if you can get where you need to be bootstrapping it, it's great because you keep all of your equity and you don't have a lot of debt or anything like that. But, you know, at one point, and it's a decision that everyone has to make for themselves and for their business as to when they want to take on an investor. And if you can find someone who's a strategic partner, even better, that can help you, like you guys were talking about earlier, even better, because then, you know, you're both in it together with the same, participating in the same goal.
Absolutely. Makes sense.
And in both of our businesses, since we make and sell things, we have to have that inventory and we have to have that capital, even for us to invest in the equipment to make it. And for you, like you said, you have to go a certain amount deep in every eyeshadow color. So that all costs so much money up front that in our businesses, it's a lot more likely for us to have to take on investments or debt or like whatever, like you said. I was at a conference one time, and, you know, everybody there kept talking. It was like an entrepreneur conference, and everybody was like, don't take money. You don't want to take venture capital money. And well, these were tech people who could literally code and make their site do exactly what they wanted, and that's what they were selling. I mean, they were selling software or software as a service or whatever they were selling. Well, we needed a $30,000 batch freezer, like, you know, so it's like, well, we actually have to have the money. We can't just do it all ourselves. So that's another point with getting investments. I mean, you know, if somebody believes in your brand and believes that, you know, if you have this machine, you'll be able to make the product and you'll be able to sell the product. And like you, Leslie, if you know, you want to do, in addition to eye, you want to do lip, and you want to do, you know, all of the different things, you need the money. It's not really a choice.
Yeah. Oftentimes our minimums are 5,000 per shade. So you can imagine.
Yeah.
I can't. 5,000 eyeliners or eyeshadow palettes or whatever it is, that it adds up to be a lot of money. So yeah, I mean, I totally hear what you're saying. It's not the same. They're not the same.
Right.
Wonderful. Excellent. So Abby, coming to you, do you take care of the marketing aspect in your business?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I don't. We have a marketing team. I sit in on a lot of the discussions or listen to them, but I did do all of the marketing. Well, not all of it, but I had a lot of hands-on experience with digital marketing at Hay Needle back in the day. A lot has changed since then, but a lot of, you know, I learned a lot about keywords and SEO and all of those different channels for online marketing. But now we do have a team that works on that. I'm on the operations side.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Do you have any idea on your ROAS, return on ad spend? If you're spending $100 on Facebook, how much of business do you get back?
So like I said, we've throttled a lot of our marketing. So we haven't been spending a lot on Facebook, but I can tell you that currently it's costing us about $16 to acquire a customer. So that's
and what's your AOV?
$100.
Wonderful. So $16 is a bad price, a good price to acquire a customer?
Oh, for us, we think that $16 is a great customer acquisition cost for what we're selling. Our repeat customers the percentage of repeat customers is great. And like I said, we're turning a lot of customers into fans, and they're sending, you know, 3 or 4 upwards, maybe even more gifts a year. So.
Excellent. Wonderful. Great. Leslie, you started your business 10 years back, perhaps when you were 50. For me, you were 30.
Yeah, so she does look so young.
So when
you guys are, thank you.
So you started your business when you were 30 and now you're 40. So in these last 10 years, do you think making your business run on autopilot, should that be an aim for your company? For example, let's say Beauty for Real running without Leslie. Should that be an aim for an entrepreneur? Putting the business on autopilot, you get your money without getting up from your bed, and making your business run without you.
Well, ideally, I think that's what everybody would like to do, but I don't know how realistic it is. It hasn't been realistic for me so far, I can tell you that. But, you know, I think that as you grow, you're able to hire people who can definitely help with that. Like Abby said, she has a marketing team now. I've got really strong marketing people that I didn't have before. So as you grow, you want to definitely make it a little bit more that you don't have to have your finger in every single pie, but you've got people that you can depend on who are going to report to you, obviously, so that you're still involved, but maybe you don't have to be the one to make every single decision on every single thing, because it's just, you know, you can't do everything. It's just not possible. But you've got to find people who can help you, who've got the same, you know, goals and same, you're facing the same direction, let's say.
Wonderful.
That can help. Yeah.
So one follow-up question on that, Leslie. What are your success habits? What habits do you think have helped you become successful?
Well, I think that you have to have definitely always a positive outlook on everything. I mean, if you get, you know, it's really, I think, very challenging to be an entrepreneur, especially, you know, in the last year, let's say. And you've got to remain positive. You've got to see there's light ahead no matter what, because there's definitely some times when it becomes very difficult and very challenging. So I think that is the most important thing, you know, and it's very important, I think, to find something that you really love, because it is so challenging. So for me, you know, waking up in the morning with the idea that I get to go play in makeup, I mean, come on. You know, it's work, but it's work that I love to do. I love that, you know, to see the people. I think that, you know, you need to find something that you love. You need to be absolutely, I would say, borderline obsessed with the success of the business. I think when you're an entrepreneur and, you know, you're really running the show, then it's kind of a 24/7 job. So realizing that and accepting that, you know, that it's going to be a lot of hard work. So finding also some releases from that. So for me, you mentioned that about horses. So I have a horse. I have two, actually. One's retired, but one that I'm riding, he's a dressage horse that I imported from Belgium, who's like amazing and a love. And that to me keeps me from going crazy, because it's just such a really wonderful release. I think that's important. You've got to take care of your health. Extremely, you know, important, because you're going, you know, fast and hard, and you've got to be healthy and exercise and eat well. And by the way, Abby, I do eat a lot of ice cream. That's one of my guilty pleasures, let's say. So I think all those, making sure you're taking care of yourself physically, self-care is really important, now more than ever. And, you know, keeping your immune system up and going and strong, and eating well, getting a lot of sleep, all those things. And I don't think it's anything that is, you know, like this mysterious secret. I think it's all, you know, stuff that we already all know, but it's just making sure that you're doing it every single day with consistency.
Making the right choices. Yeah.
Exactly. And then doing it consistently, right?
Right.
So that's a very important lesson, Leslie and Abby, which entrepreneurs generally learn very late. 80% of the companies fail in the first year of the business. About 90% of businesses fail in first 3 years. Perhaps because most of the entrepreneurs are spending a lot of time on the business and less time on themselves. You have to constantly upgrade your game and constantly improve, so that your business improves, so that your problems becomes easier. They say that, you know what, a lot of times these entrepreneurs also complain about not having a good team, not having good people around, because they themselves are average. So if you are average, only average people will work with you. If you are great, great people will work with you, because great people will never work under average people. So you have to constantly strive to become great and greater, and that journey never ends. And what you have said, Leslie, those are perfectly the right things to do, working on taking care of yourself, taking care of your mind, your body. And once you have all these things, when you keep improving yourself, reading is a very important habit to have. Once you keep on improving yourself, everything, all the problems around you become easier, because you have up your game, and everything, all problems become easier. Instead of working on those problems, if we start working on ourselves, the things around us become easier. That's what Leslie is saying. Thank you very much, Leslie. That's a great tip to have from you. Abby, coming to you, what are your success habits?
I think positivity was a great one from Leslie. And I am just eternally optimistic for some reason. I always want to turn that corner and look for the bright side. I think that's helped me be really successful, especially in the dark times where it was like, nobody's buying ice cream. This isn't going to work. We've got, you know, whatever it was. And then trying to figure out, well, why would they buy ice cream? And just being positive. And I think that's definitely a success. I started the business when I was in my late 20s and had just that energy back then too. I wasn't married. I didn't have anything else. I didn't have kids. I wasn't even dating anyone. So I was able to put a lot of my energy into that. And so when I would go home at the end of the day, like then it was all about me and I could really focus on myself. And so that self-care was very important in the beginning as well. The other thing I think is kind of what I was talking about before is decision making and making good decisions. I just mentioned that, but I try not to get not stranded, but I try not to get distracted by big decisions, or I kind of let, this is kind of a weird thing to say, but the big decisions, I try not to get weighed down by them, even the small decisions. For me, I've learned that if I have a feeling about something or someone, it works out. Like I kind of either push in the right direction or pull off, and stuff seems to sort itself out instead of me getting weighed down about it. If I don't know the decision right then I really kind of step back from it and kind of let things move. And then usually the decision becomes more apparent. And I'm not quite sure if that's good advice for everybody, because a lot of times it's like, go, we got to make, and sometimes you just have to make decisions fast. And if you don't, I would say, just either sleep on it or take some time back from it. So I would say that is one of my success buttons. One other thing, and that might be part of this, is to let go of perfection, because somebody has done it before, but you're never going to be able to just copy what somebody has done and get the same result in business startup or in running your own business. I mean, I can't tell you how much time I wasted in the beginning trying to find the playbook for how to do this, when really you just have to blaze your own trail and figure it out. And with funding and with who's the right bank, who's the right supplier, well, who would they use? And it's like, no, you just got to figure things out for yourself and for your business, and know that even if you do it differently, you might come up with success, and you could do it the exact same as somebody else, and it doesn't work out. So blaze your own trail there.
Wonderful. Excellent. I think that's again great piece of advice from Abby. Before we wrap up, one opportunity to both of you, if you want to ask a question to a fellow speaker, Abby to Leslie, Leslie to Abby, please go ahead and shoot now.
Wow.
I have one for you. I wrote down your Get Real seminars, because I thought, oh my gosh, yeah, if I could just have one or two tips. Like I have on lipstick and a little bit of eyeliner, but I just don't do a lot of stuff because I don't really know how to do it. And right now you're usually in a mask when you're around people. So I had my friend bought me an eye palette that gave like 3 little directional things in it. And that was really helpful. But I would love to hear more about your Get Real sessions, and if you're kind of selling those or using those for other people to use.
Yeah, totally. I mean, they are absolutely complimentary. They're a free thing that we do. So if you go onto the website, beautyforreal.com, and up at the top menu, a top bar, there's a little drop down for the digital event. We just have digital event. And that's Get Real. So basically what it is that, let's say you wanted to do it, Abby. So what you would do is you would get maybe 4 of your friends or family members or anyone from your work, whomever who wanted to join. And we list a number of dates, and you pick a date, and we send you a Zoom link. And what happens is that you guys kind of cumulatively will put together maybe a list of questions or a certain look that you're interested in learning about, or maybe you have skin concerns, whatever it is. And then we start the conversation going. So it's great to have about between, like, let's say 4 and 8 people on at a time. More than 8, then it's a little hard to be interactive. Mm-hmm. So it will have that number, and then we can all be interactive. And what I do is I'll put an application on, and you guys can follow along if you'd like to. And as long as there's good lighting, I can, help critique and, answer questions as we're going. And then you would get a $50 gift card for hosting, and the other participants would get a discount off from the website for a week's period of time. And obviously you would too. So it's kind of, for us, it's sort of a way for us to introduce the brand to new people.
That is so great.
So we take someone who's, either already a fan or potentially a fan like yourself, and ask them to gather their group, their girl gang. And actually, one of the guys who I do it with is a guy too. So we're not gender, any gender will do.
Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to look good, right?
Go, Amit, you can host one too. And really introduce the concept of easy, achievable beauty, and our concept at Beauty for Real, which we are cruelty free. We have tons of natural skin loving ingredients. The price points we're at the low end of prestige. So we're sort of like the price points of MAC and Clinique, rather than the really high end sort of, Chanel, or, even Bobbi Brown is quite expensive. It drives me crazy personally going into Sephora and you buy 3 things and it's like $100, because especially knowing how much it costs, it's like, come on, people, so I think it's a little bit like my grandma was. I remember when I'd have my 30th birthday, she'd give me $5 and say, go buy yourself a new outfit. And I was like, Grandma, you can't buy a new outfit with $5, but thank you very much.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where I get that. But I love, I think it's great if you can, get a few things and you don't have to take out a mortgage. It's, it's fantastic.
Sure. Yeah.
So anyway, that's sort of what the idea around Get Real is just really introducing our brand and our brand concept to a new audience.
So we would love, great. It sounded really fun.
Yeah, I would love to have you do it. It is fun because, women love makeup. Come on. And just to play.
They do. And yeah.
It's a good, nothing makes you, it's so gratifying for me to have a career where there are very few ways that, and you kind of do it too, and you were alluding to how you provide really a comfort to people, but, to be able to touch someone, well, it used to be physically, but even not so physically, but help them to feel better about themselves and help them to feel stronger when they go out into the world and more confident. And, it's really empowering for women. And that's so gratifying to me. There's nothing better than putting makeup on someone and have them look in the mirror and go, oh my God, I look amazing. And you can see confidence just growing right there. And I think I love that.
That's awesome.
So how many flavors do you guys have? And what is your all-time best-selling flavor?
Oh, we typically have about 20 to 25 flavors on the site at a time. And we also have a product that's called Create Your Own, and you can pick from over 50 flavors and 50 mix-ins and create your own flavor, actually. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes. So my, our all-time favorite selling flavor is chocolate cake ice cream with fudge swirls and brownie bites. I mean, it's like the most decadent of decadent. It's not for me. I like something a little more simpler, but people love it. And it's it's like a brownie with fudge and ice cream in a pint. So yeah, people absolutely love it.
Sounds pretty delicious. I definitely have to check out your website because I think that's a great gift idea. I have a friend who owns a company called Carolyn's Cakes. Have
Oh,
you ever
sure.
heard of? Yeah, and kind of what you do is a little similar to what they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love that because comfort food, yummy.
I know, and for some reason when you get it in the mail too, it's like, oh yeah, I mean, I have to eat that. Somebody sent it to me, you know. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, you as well.
Midwestern girls.
I know. That's true. Yes.
I'm so glad I'm patiently listening to two fabulous women, and my webinar is being so successful without me talking.
Happy to help.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Both of you are fabulous people. You definitely can become each other's customers, as well as perhaps partners. You can sell ice cream and you can sell makeup and you can do some makeup ice cream collaboration. You can have ice cream as well as do your makeup and do a show on that. You guys are fabulous.